this time that I have somewhere on the screen where you can tell what it is that I'm doing from a live stream point of view. So I thought I'd bring out the trusty clapperboard and, you know, write on it what we're doing. But first I need to clean it to get it going. And welcome those of you that have been waiting and sitting patiently online for this live stream to start, while I, you know, clean off my clapperboard here and get it ready for, you know, for sharing what it is that we're going to be doing. And as always, if you're in the chat, say hi, ask a question, whatever you want to do. Hey, Buddy Knight, how you doing? Cameron, hello. Ghostbusters HQ, hey, Ghostbusters HQ, how you doing? It's good to see you, folks. We are on the live stream today. We're going to be doing some cool prop building stuff. It almost always ends up with Ghostbusters. I think we might do some Ecto goggles today. But Francisco, hello. Francisco burned through so many of those clapperboards in their freelance days. That's cool, Francisco. Andrew Bundy, hello. Muran, hello. Welcome. Right. What are we going to write on here then, folks? Well, I dropped stuff on the floor. You can see that I'm in an organized state today. I've actually been very busy in the workshop this morning already, getting stuff done and built. I think, well, I'm just going to put prop building. Prop building. How about that? Yeah, does that sound good? Prop building. As you can tell, I can't speak and write at the same time unless I'm spelling out what I'm writing. So yeah, and I'm going to put today on there. Okay, here we go. Is that good? Does that work for everybody? This is what we're doing today, and I'm going to put that in the background so that when people join, they can tell what on earth we're up to. And I bet that I'm going to put this here, and it's going to fall down. And of course you can't see it, can you? There we go. Let me put it here. Let me put it there. How's that? Does that work? Ish? Excellent. Welcome everybody. Who else we got here in the chat? Snedler, hello. Welcome. And you got a notification in time. That's awesome. I decided to choose a slightly earlier live stream time today, see how that worked for people. I know some people, it's late for them when I typically do it, so I thought I'd try a different time. Le Poison, hello, how are you? Francisco saying, very impressed with how the lightweight and 3D printed pack was. Do you strengthen your packs with resin? That is a good question. I have not yet strengthened a pack with resin, but I understand why people do. There is value in doing that, and if anyone on the chat doesn't know what Francisco's talking about, that is painting a resin layer over like a UV resin, which is basically a liquid that when exposed to UV light sets hard. And there's other types of resins as well. Hey Eddie, how are you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, there's other types of resins as well, but that is sometimes a really good way. You get your 3D print, you make it nice, and then you use the resin to strengthen it afterwards is often a thing that you can do. Now, Eddie was one of the people that said that I should show on the screen what we're doing today. And so I put this up here, a clapperboard, so people can read it. Now, maybe my handwriting isn't good enough, but you get the idea. That's the point. I could even look, like I could spotlight it, look, boom, there we go. It's lit now, even better. So yeah, we're gonna play with some Ghostbusters props today. One of the things I was thinking of doing was showing you how I might approach something like taking this toy, which is a set of Ecto goggles, and how I might start to kind of make it look more like a real prop. I thought that could be like a fun exercise for this live stream. We can kind of do that together. The other thing I did, because people have been asking for this, is I put a clamp up here so I can put my camera above the workbench, and you can actually see what I'm doing, rather than me going, can you see everybody? Can you see where I'm pointing my camera? So that's hopefully what I'm going to do. Cameron's saying, you should build a compact thrower from Frozen Empire. Cameron, let me show you what's in this box over here. This is a box of pieces for a compact thrower. That is exactly what's in this box here. I've been 3D printing these pieces, and it's been sat over there for a while. but these are all the bits I need to put together a compact thrower. So that is something that I do have a plan to do. The problem is I have so many projects going on, so many ideas for things that I kind of keep jumping between one and the other all the time. And that can be, you know, you guys know what that's like. You got 600 ideas and you start 20 of them and it takes a while to get them finished. Or maybe you're not like that. Maybe it's just me that's a little bit crazy. Clay, hey Clay, how you doing? YouTube decided to grace me with a notification. That is amazing. Welcome Clay. And Ghostbusters HQ, how should I 3D print a ghost trap, or should I use this toy one? So should you? Well, it's the age-old question. I think there's a lot to be said for both paths. I think that if you're new to this and you can afford to buy a decent toy, I would highly recommend, you know, like this trap that I've shown 100 times on the stream, but this is a spirit trap, right? That then I modded. So if you want to take something that's a good starting point and then mod it into something that looks more like this, I think that's a really good way to go. And apologies, it's really hot in New Jersey today, and I had to have the door of the workshop open because I was doing some laser cutting. I'll show you what I was laser cutting later actually, but I was doing some laser cutting, and yeah, so it got very, very hot in here. But to answer your question, should you start with a toy or should you start with a 3D print? I think it just very much depends. I think that you might get the toy to look more like a prop quicker than you will a 3D print. But the 3D print, certainly for me, 3D printing the pack gave me a lot of satisfaction. So yes, let's see, what else are people saying? Maron is saying, I get that. I've always been trying to be diligent on finishing and purging some props. Yep. Yeah, that's how it goes. Sometimes it's hard to get through all that stuff. Let's see. Snedler's saying, Cameron, you could have read Matt's mind there with the thrower. That's it. Buddy's saying, oh, my birthday, I might get the 1984 Hasbro Neutrona wand. I highly recommend it. It is excellent. Very, very good indeed. Cameron is saying, if you do add a slime blower. I know Cameron really wants me to build a slime blower. And I'm like, that would be cool to have one. I don't know if I want to go through the process of making one. I don't know if that, has anyone 3D printed one? Somebody must have done. But you really, I mean, it's so big. You really, really have to strengthen that as a thing. Let's see, who else we got here? Clay is asking me what printer I use. I use a, oh, what's it called again? It's a very cheap one, honestly. Oh my gosh, why can't I ever remember the name of it? But yes, I use it. If you go on any of my videos where I 3D print something, there's a link to it. It's an off-brand cheap printer. I'd love to get myself something more expensive like a Bamboo, but actually some of these cheap printers are pretty dang good. Certainly I found mine to be excellent. Let's see, who else is saying things? Instead of saying I would love to do 3D printing, Stephanie saying hi. Hi Stephanie, how you doing? Snedler's saying hi to Steph, and Stephanie's saying hi to Snedler. I love it when you guys chat with each other because you know each other from being on the live chat. That's freaking awesome. Ghostbusters HQ has made a slime blower. Okay, tell me more, Ghostbusters HQ, about the slime blower build and how you did it. I'd love to hear about that. Buddy's saying, I like your workshop. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I mean, this is my little space. It's not huge, but it serves me well for what I need to do. I got all my kit here, there, and everywhere. And actually, I've been spending some time doing some enhancements to the workshop. Hang on, let me move this camera in the right position. Yeah, I've been trying to do a few enhancements to the workshop to make it. Oh, now it looks like we're on the beer here. Let's see. I don't know if I can make that any straighter. But yeah, I've been trying to do a few enhancements to the workshop to make it easy for me to do the kind of things that I want to do. Let's see. Right, I'm going to get the iPad because the iPad is a lot easier for reading all these questions because there's lots of questions coming in thick and fast, folks. So let me see if I can I can open up this chat here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So, what are folks saying? So Clay asked me about the printer. Steph was saying hi. And Ghostbusters HQ was saying that they made a slime blower. That's really, really cool. And Sneddle was asking if the slime blower that you made worked. Because that's quite a feat. And Rebecca, hi Rebecca. Workers gonna work in their workshop. That's how it goes. I'm my own assistant to the regional manager today. That's what I am. Any Office fans out there will get this joke right here. Sadler's saying, Matt's Ghostbusters Geeking Garage soon with IMAX. I like it. The IMAX experience. That'd be fantastic. Okay, Francisco is saying, since you have your clapperboard on display, I had to ask, but have you had any incidents where filming was an issue or you were asked to leave? Ooh, that's a good question. I have not had that experience. The only time, and it was ages ago, that I was told off for filming, I was at a Comic-Con in the UK. So you saw I did the video about the Comic-Con I went to and met Adam. That was my first ever Comic-Con here in the United States. But I went to a Comic-Con in the UK and I had my GoPro, and they don't like it when you film, or at least in this one they didn't like it when you film too close to the stars at their tables, because obviously that's something you pay for. So they told me I had to put my camera away, which I felt very embarrassed about, actually, because I hate situations like that. But yeah, that's the only time that I can think of where I've been told not to film. I'm usually pretty good, especially obviously if I interview people. I always ask them if they're happy to appear on the video, because you don't know. Sometimes it's hard with live streams, but I think those of you that see my outdoor live streams, I often say, hey, I'm on the live stream, are you okay to talk to me? And if they don't want to talk to me, I move on to the next person. That's a very good question, very good question. Cameron, you should make something from the Ghostbusters comic book. Gosh, yes, I should, actually. There's so many things, props that we could make. Buddy saying, I updated my spirit pack and might make another part series on my channel. Cool. And Buddy's calling out his channel, Buddy7577. Check out Buddy's channel, folks. That would be cool to see that. So, are you interested? Should we do some stuff? Should we build some stuff? Play with some stuff? Before we do that, I should show you this thing that I've been building back here. As many of you will know, and thank you for those of you that are subscribers. Thank you so much. For all of those of you that have subbed and supported the channel. You may be aware I reached 10k subscribers, which was amazing. So thank you very, very much. And you may also know this, but YouTube only gives out play buttons for people that have reached 100,000 or above subscribers. So I think it goes 100,000, then it goes 1 million, then it goes 10 million, then it goes 100 million. I'm not anywhere near millions at this point, but back in the day, this was bronze level 10k, and you know, I'm not sure they gave out bronze play buttons, but I thought, you know what, to celebrate, because it's me, I thought I'd make myself a 10k play button, which I've been doing. So this is, and I thought the really cool thing would be if I made the play button out of wood, because I thought that would look cool, because I've not seen a wooden play button. So hang on, let me see. This is in pieces right now. I've not finished it yet. But this is what I've been building here. And then the idea is that the play button's going to be inside, and the whole thing will be lit up. That's my idea. And then I can hang it on my wall. Look, and I've laser cut and laser engraved this. And then I'm going to put this will be kind of inside, and then there'll be like an LED lighting. I thought that'd be fun. And have that up on the wall over there, lit up in the workshop. So that's the plan, and that's what I've been working on. So I'm actually hoping to finish this today. This is my build for today, and then I might drop that as kind of celebratory video on my YouTube channel if I get it edited. I might not have enough time to edit it over the weekend, but I'm going to try. And the other bit of news, because I know Snedler particularly, and others on this chat have been asking about membership for so long. I am this close to getting the membership up and running. I was thinking of launching it this weekend. We will see if that happens. It may be during the week. But if I do that, I'll probably do a live stream announcing it and telling people what the levels are and answering any questions that people have about it. And I think one of the first, I'm going to put a couple of videos up to start the membership off, one of which is going to be, I know people have been asking for this, a tour of my geeky basement. So that's going to be one of the members only videos that I'm going to do, hopefully. And again, I'm giving myself so much to do. The other thing I'm trying to do, because if you're a Ghostbusters fan, which many of you are, you will know that the Ghostbusters are in the new parade at Universal Orlando. And so there is a possible plan for me to jet over to Florida and capture some exclusive footage of that parade and find out what Ghostbusters and probably Back to the Future stuff is going on at the park. That would be, and I'm sure some of you would love to see that, so I thought that might be kind of a fun thing to do. So anyway, I'm just telling you all these crazy busy things that I've got on my list here of stuff that's going on. What are people saying? Lots of people saying thank you and congratulations, and about the play button, which is been a fun thing to make. And then Clay's saying it's crazy how we went from being so excited for the Kenner toys as kids to having toys like the new Hasbro ones. Yeah, I know. Amazing, amazing. Rebecca's saying that's great. So much progress you've made rather quickly. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Thanks, Rebecca. Long-time subscriber, soon member. That's super kind, Rebecca. And yes, you have been, I'm going to call you a founding member. There are a few folks that have been around for a long time, and I super appreciate that. And I love hearing from you folks, particularly on the live streams and in the comments. So thank you. Every time anyone comments or every time somebody joins the live stream and chats, it's super gratifying. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Buddy is asking, if you ever wanted to build the Ecto, which car and year would you use? Ooh. Me, I want to mash up the movies and shows. So the 1984 Cadillac from Answer the Call, and mash it up with the first Ghostbusters movie and shows. Ooh, that's interesting. That would be an interesting mashup. I like that, because there's some super cool extra things in the show on the car, right? There's some kind of funky stuff that you could add that would be very, very cool. What would I like to do with an Ecto? I really love the Ecto with the gunner seat, I have to say. So the Afterlife Ecto. But you know me, I wouldn't be able to help myself. I would have to make some modifications. I would have to make some to it. In fact, Nick and I were chatting about not modifications, but a few little things that I might build as props for the inside of the Ecto 1NJ, which would be cool. If we do that, which I'm sure we will actually, I will obviously share that with you live here. And there's a lot of stuff going on with Nick right now, and cars. Again, I don't want to spoil the surprise, but lots of cool stuff. Snedder saying, Matt, Back to the Future was first released 3rd of July 85. I was born that day. That's amazing. That's so cool. And what a great movie. Such a classic. Cameron, would you make something called a Proton puncher cannon? It's a rocket thruster with a big metal front and spikes that can fit in your pocket and can grow bigger and can make you fly without being hurt. Wow. That sounds like a super cool thing. I don't even know where I'd begin with them, but that sounds cool, Cameron. Rebecca's saying that they're on vacation in Destin, Florida now, and planning on heading to Orlando to see the Ghostbusters happenings there as well this summer. Cool. Yeah, that will be fun to see. I'm really excited to see that. Yeah, and like I said, I'll bring you coverage, and I'll probably do a live stream from the park as well. That's obviously going to happen. Buddy's saying about the Ecto, might add a gunner seat in it to their Ecto build, and Ghostbusters HQ is saying, I have a Ghostbusters 2 slime blower and a video game Proton pack slime cannon. That is cool. That is super cool. Cameron's saying, by the way, believe that you can get 1 million subscribers and to get that play button. Thank you. That's super kind. We're working on it right here and now. And if you're new, speaking of subscribers, if you're new and you're enjoying what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button. Do it right now. Go on. Yep, that's it. Excellent. Well done. Good job. Slightly Twisted Balloons, that is a cool name. What prop does not get the attention or builds it deserves? Ooh, what an epic question. That is making me think, because I was actually thinking of this very thing recently, because I was thinking, what cool thing could I build that nobody else has built? I was actually thinking this about Alien, actually, and Aliens. I'm thinking about what props haven't been built for that. But for Ghostbusters, what prop? It's really interesting, because I think so many props have been built. You've really stumped me there. It's such a good question. And tell me what you would build. Oh, have you done it? For me, the prototype boots from Iron Man. Oh, we're not just talking about Ghostbusters here. We're talking about all prototype boosts from Iron Man. Boots, sorry, not boosts. I mean, the boots do boost you. But yes, that would be cool. That would be cool. I need to think on that. There's so many cool things that you could build. So many cool things. Snedler's saying, I remember the Ghostbusters helicopter from the animated series. It'd be cool if a chopper pilot had made a Ghostbuster helicopter. That would be cool. And Cameron is saying that they're going to Orlando to go see the Ghostbusters parade. That's cool. I think a lot of people are going to head out and do that. Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right. Should we do some Ecto goggles stuff? Should we do that? If you want to do Ecto goggles, hit the heart thingy. Hit the heart thingy and let me know. So, Ecto goggles. Ecto goggles. These are the Spirit Halloween Ecto goggles. Super simple. Very, very simple build. Not a bad build at all. They're not, as all these toys are not, perfectly screen accurate. And some things that do annoy me about this set here is this really badly painted. I mean, how did those scratches get inside there, right? This is a very quick factory job. If there's any scratches or chipping, it's going to be around the edge here. So yeah, there's a few things that bother me a little bit about this. But the idea is that let's go through what's my process? What process would I go through to start to convert this into something? And again, I don't know if you see, again, I think the batteries have probably run out on this one, but there's a light. So if you turn this switch, a light comes on in this piece here. But in order to make this look more like it's supposed to look, let's do some mods on it. Let's do some mods. So I'm going to clear some space here, bring the camera close, and we can have a play. So I'm going to move the camera over here somewhat, and then just kind of move it down a little bit, and we can start to play with this. Oh, now, can you see it if I put it there and I put it here? Does that work? Is that enough space there? And if there is, I'm going to put my play button again. I'm excited to finish this. This is going to be cool. Hopefully you'll see this on the next live stream. That's the hope. Although you didn't hear it here, there might be a live stream early in the week from Universal. There might be. There might be. You will find out. I will share it if it happens. Okay, we're clearing the decks here. So, the first thing with anything like this is we're going to want to do something with the way this looks, because yeah, there's so many things I would like to do to this to change its look and feel. So the first thing we need to do is get the stickers off, but we want to reuse the stickers. So there's a little trick to that, and before I get onto that trick, I'm just going to answer a couple of questions. Oh, Slight Twisted Blues is asking me on my thoughts on the HasLab 2 in a box. Will it be the standard for modders? Oh, this is a good question. The 2 in the box, if you've seen one of my previous videos, I saw the 2 in the box and got to hold it and compare it with the actual the prop from the movie. So when I was at the Frozen Empire premiere, I got to hold the actual prop, and then I got to hold the HasLab mod. You know what I mean, the HasLab toy, the 2 in a box toy. And I thought they were pretty good, actually, comparatively, when you recognize all the effort that has to go into making something like that work for real, in real life, the prop does not have all of those things in it that you typically have in like a toy, like the HasLab toy. So I thought it was very good. Is it going to be the standard? I think there's been a lot of people that I've heard mention in my comments at least that they're concerned about the chunkiness of the handle. And of course the handle was chunkier in the later movies than in the first ones. But I think in general it's very good. Is it going to become the standard for modders? I think it's going to be an incredibly good base to start from. I think it will depend on how many of them exist out there in the world. I think that will be a part of it as well. So I think it depends on those things. Okay, Francisca's saying, have to ask a Brit, do you pronounce Stanley Kubrick or Stanley Kubrick? Stanley Kubrick, I think. Stanley Kubrick. That's my answer, and I'm sticking with it. Snever saying I'm going to MacGyver that goggle. Yes, I am. Let's see. Oh, Stephanie shared out. Thank you. Anyone know if they're planning another Ghostbusters movie? I don't know yet. We will see. A Mason Pistol, buddy's saying. Ooh, that's interesting. For the goggles, am I scrapping the head straps? So, that is a great question. They are not great. I was thinking that very thing this morning. I probably will scrap them and get some new ones, but for now, we will see. Sophia, hello. Hello. Right. Let us begin, folks. Let us begin. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start by taking these straps off. I believe that they come off like this. This is going to be a little bit challenging because it looks like they're not designed to go through here very well. This will be great. This will be like the first thing I do and find that I fail dramatically. I always wonder with things like this how they get them in when they when they make them. If you can't actually get this through the hole, how have they done it, people? How did they do this? Let me know in chat if you have the answer. I'm having to fold it a little bit to get it through. Right, come on you. Come on you. And this is where I begin by breaking the whole thing, trying to get the straps off, which would be, a fun thing to see live, me messing up. I mean, I mess up stuff all the time, so it wouldn't be the first time. Right now, this final bit here, and this is the question I've got here. So I'm going to try opening this up a little bit. I'm assuming that this piece comes off here. I can't see any visible. There we go. Okay. So that piece has come off now. And what I was trying to check was, you see here under there's this stud, which is holding the top of this strap on. And I was just trying to see whether it was a screw or anything, but it isn't. So I'm just gonna have to tear this off, I'm afraid. There we go. All right, that's come off now, leaving it like that. So now we've got a starting point here. And this might be an opportunity to change the camera angle for a second. And Jacob's asking in chat the score prediction for today. If anyone's following the Euros, Jacob's asking about will England win and what's the scoreline. I predict 2-1 to England. There you go, that's my prediction. It's out there in the universe now. Okay, so the next question I have is, or the next thought that I go through is, these stickers. How do we take these off so they're reusable? I have a little trick for you. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to change this camera angle. Let's see how we do this. I'm going to turn this around, and then I'm going to put this here. Can you guys see? Okay, is that a good over the head shot? Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is a good over the head shot. So yeah, I just realised I dropped off the live stream on my iPad, which is always fun. So, here's what we're going to do now. We're going to take... I need to move this a little bit because otherwise my head's going to get in the way. Okay. There we go. Let's try that. Let's try this. I'm so sorry about this. This is the first time I've used this overhead shot. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this. So this is lighter fluid. Now we're not going to set fire to it. We're not going to set fire to it, but what we are going to do is we're going to use it because there's a chemical in here which is really good for getting the tacky stuff off stickers. So there's a couple of things you're going to need for this exercise. So I take this, and then obviously we need some tweezers, and I find that these tweezers are the best ones for this kind of activity. So these are the ones I'm going to use for this. And then here's what we do. So I'll start with this one here. And let's just pull this up. And it's worth noting that you are going to get some lighter fluid places. When you try this exercise, you're going to get some lighter fluid in places. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with this sticker. I'm just going to put a little bit of lighter fluid on here. Just a little bit on the sticker. And then we're going to let it sit for a moment or two. And then the idea is that that will start to loosen the sticker. So you see this coming off now? I don't know if you can see that okay. So you're just going to ease this off. And it's actually surprising how quickly this works. You just have to be very patient when you do this. And once it gets to a sticking point, haha, no pun intended, you just put a little bit more lighter fluid on it and leave it for a second. And then you can peel it a little bit more. And I just realised what I should probably put in shot is this, so people know what we're doing. So then I'm going to just put a little bit more in here. And the great thing about the lighter fluid, of course, is that it is going to evaporate. So ultimately it's going to come off here like this. And that's it. That's the first sticker off. There you go. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So that is going to be repeated for all the other stickers. Now, these stickers we need to put somewhere safe. And what I typically do is stick them on a piece of plastic or something that they can be peeled off of. And I just realised that I don't have a piece of plastic to do that. Well, that's bad planning, that, isn't it, on your part? Honestly, get your act together, dude. Let me see what I can do, what I'm going to stick these on. You know what? I'm going to use one of these little drawers. And I'm going to just stick it there like that. And then we can rub this off. And look, it's as if there was no sticker there in the first place. And then you kind of rinse and repeat. Now this sticker here, this one does not exist in the Ghostbusters universe. So it's probably not as important that we preserve the quality of that one. But in order to, you've done this before, you peel a sticker off and you get that horrible sticky stuff everywhere. Well, we don't want that. So we're going to do the same process. So I'm going to just put the lighter fluid on here again. And obviously don't do this don't do this by candlelight, folks. I would not recommend that. Don't do it next to the fire. Don't do it next to your soldering iron. Keep away from those things. And there we go, there's another sticker. Done. And then we're going to wipe that down. And in some ways, when you go through this process, I find it quite satisfying because you're taking this whole unit back to basics. You're making it what it was before it had the stickers added to it. So again, we're going to do it here with this one. And let me know in chat if anyone has tried this. Has anyone tried doing this before or removed stickers in this way? It's also a really good trick. Say you've got like an old vintage toy. I don't know, like a Star Wars toy from the 70s or early 80s. And it is, you've seen those toys that kind of look yellowed and they're in a nasty spot. You can use this technique to remove the stickers before you go through the process of cleaning the toy, and then you can put the stickers back on with basically a glue stick afterwards. This one does not look like it's as enthusiastic to come off, so I'm just going to give it a little bit more of a soak here. Let it do its thing. And you will find sometimes with some of these stickers, of course, if they're like a very plasticky type sticker, which they often are, or metallic, sometimes sometimes the lighter fluid does not get underneath them quickly enough, and so that becomes a bit of a challenge. So let's see if I can pull it now. See, this is a good example. This has a plastic covering, and that plastic covering is starting to separate from the actual sticker. I will say that this pair of goggles was in the back of Mickey's Ecto for a while, and so got hot and kicked about, and so it may be that it's not in the best condition. But this sticker is not playing ball. Much harder to pull off. Oh, here we go. Okay. Cosmic Vision is saying that they use isopropyl alcohol to do this. How well does it work? Does it come off easily? Let me know. I'm interested. Okay, so I'm going to put this sticker on here as well, and just again use a little bit of this to clean off the sticky residue. Okay, that one's done. Cosmic Vision saying 90% works great. That's cool to know. Hey, Paul made it to the live stream. Guys, give a shout out to Paul. Paul is an old friend of mine back from the days where I was a university lecturer in Wolverhampton University, and Paul helped me make a movie, one of my early movies that I made, and he's an awesome guy. It's great to have you here, Paul. Yeah, it's great to be here. Paul is a huge Ghostbusters fan, and also a huge X-Files fan. So thank you for joining the live stream. It's lovely to see you. We need to have a chat sometime. Right, so 2 more stickers here. And if you're new to the stream, what we're doing right now is I'm using lighter fluid as a method to safely remove stickers so that they can be reused on these Ecto goggles. So the idea being that we're going to make these Ecto goggles look more realistic. That is the plan. That is the plan. So, and like I said, you have to be gentle. You have to give it a second, he says, while he's like tweaking and trying to open this up. But as you can see, if I bring this closer, what starts to happen is here, a bit more light. There we go. Is that the alcohol will start to work its magic. Not the alcohol, the lighter fluid, by getting under these edges, and so you have to just tease this edge up. See there? I've just done that. And then these are great pliers for this, because then you can get them aligned with the sticker, and you can kind of use a fairly even pull there. And I'm just going to put a little bit more alcohol on, lighter fluid on. It's because now Cosmic Vision said isopropyl, and I'm saying alcohol because I heard them say that. Okay, there we go. And there's the sticker off. And then I'm going to put that here on a piece of plastic, and then I'm going to use this cloth just to clean it off. And again, that's nice. There's no sticky residue left. It's in a good spot. We're kind of good to go. And this is the last one. This is the last one. Now this is going to be a little bit more interesting, because I think we're going to have lighter fluid everywhere, because it's going to drip off that circular surface. But let's see how it goes. Yeah, thanks Cosmic Vision. Yeah, isopropyl alcohol, and actually, funnily enough, look at this. Here it is. I have some right here, isopropyl alcohol. I'm actually going to use this next to clean everything down after I'm finished with the lighter fluid. And the reason that I've chosen to do the lighter fluid as opposed to the alcohol is because apparently, and maybe it's the same with the alcohol, right? But there's a chemical, can't remember the name of it, that's present in lighter fluid that specifically breaks down the tacky stuff in stickers. And I should add, because I know that we get a huge range of people of different ages on the chat here and on the live stream. If you are planning on doing this and you're not an adult, talk to an adult first before you do this exercise. I don't think, being a parent of 5 kids, I would want my children, when they were younger, doing this without some adult supervision. Not because this particular activity is dangerous, but because I wouldn't want them putting lighter fluid everywhere. So just a point there. And as I suggested, this is going to be harder because typically what's happening is that this is going to sit in a pool of the lighter fluid, but the lighter fluid's kind of dripping off this circular surface. So I'm just going to have to be a lot more patient than normal for taking this off. Anyone that knows me knows I'm not necessarily very patient. I want everything to be done quickly. Okay, here we go. It seems to be coming off a little bit better now. And you do have to be careful. I found, especially with these red stickers on Ghostbusters things, if you're too aggressive with them, it starts to knock the paint off them. So you do have to be super gentle with these. There we go. That's starting to work now. This is just going to take a while. But this is the last sticker, folks. So this puts us in a good spot, I think, for getting on with the next step. And if you do your own modding of toys, very interested in hearing in the chat what kind of things you've done, what experiences you've had of doing that. Throw them in chat, because as I've often said, I do not claim to be any kind of expert. This is really just me sharing what I do, or what I've done, mistakes and all, and there's a lot to learn from others. So I've learned loads from people saying stuff in chat. Okay, that is the last one. The last sticker is gone. I'm going to just put this here, like this. Okay, and there are our stickers separated, and now I'm going to have to give this a good clean off here. Let's see what people are saying. Cosmic saying, make sure to add and subscribe. This channel is awesome. Thank you, Cosmic Vision. That is fantastic of you to say so. And yeah, if you're liking what you see, drop a subscription. We do all sorts of things. We do a lot of prop building. We do experience creation. And we're a lover of all sorts of geeky fandoms on this channel. Ghostbusters is one of them and has been a heavy focus since Frozen Empire has come out and before Frozen Empire has come out. But we do other stuff too. Looking forward to some Back to the Future stuff coming up. And as I've been teasing, it's highly likely that this week I'll do a live stream from Universal of the new Ghostbusters stuff that we can find. And I'll definitely bring some of that stuff to you so that you can see what's going on there. All right, look at this. We have removed all of the stickers. Now, I've got rid of that. I am going to do a clean with the alcohol. So this is rubbing alcohol. In the United States, this is pretty easy to get hold of at a CVS or any kind of drugstore will sell this really, because it's used for cleaning wounds and other things and sterilizing things. In other countries, I don't know if it's as easy to get or whether you have to get it from a hardware store or from a DIY store. But yeah, so I'm just giving this a good clean now, just to make sure that any grime or dirt is off it, that it is clean and ready for the next stage of the process of giving this a little bit of a more realistic look to it. Okay. Now, on this shaft piece here, this is one of the pieces that's definitely still got some tackiness on it. So we're going to have to give that a little bit more love, because we want that tackiness to go away before we get onto the next stage. Okay, we're almost there. Either watching me clean this is really zen and relaxing, or incredibly boring. I'm not sure which. let me know in the chat. Let me know which it is. Okay, really good spot there. What are people saying in chat? Let's see. Roll back. Stephanie's saying, ordered the 40th anniversary coin for Buffalo Ghostbusters and got it yesterday. That's awesome. That's a cool coin as well. Ghostbusters HQ have to turn the Ghostbusters Kenner Ecto into the Ecto 1A. That would be awesome. Paul is saying, have you seen footage of the new movie that floats at Universal Studios Florida? I have. I have seen some footage of it, and I hope, as I said, Paul, to be there next week. That's my hope. We will see. Buddy's saying, I'm making my own stickers for the visors right now. Oh, that's awesome. Paul is saying there's not enough love for the 1A. That is true. And my buddy Ectotech, if you follow Ectotech, if you don't, go follow him. He is making a 1A right now, which is going to be awesome to see when it's done. Sender said, need to look up that coin. Only got Titanic gold coins, Ghostbusters coins. That's epic. Yes, the challenge coins. There are some challenge coins. I have a Frozen Empire challenge coin. If I run out to my office, I can grab it for you and show you in a bit, if I remember. Oh yeah, and Paul's hoping to go April next year, so hopefully it's still on. I think it will. It's already been a huge success. Right, let's see. So here we are. Now, one other thing that's kind of interesting at this point is when you look inside these things and you see how simple the electronics is. So this is just a really simple switch that you can see here, connected to the batteries here. And then right in this lens, this one here, there is just a green light basically that comes on. So I'm not going to do anything with that because I'm not planning on upgrading the electronics on this right now. That's not really the purpose of this live stream. What I am going to do is I'm just going to undo this battery area here and get the batteries out of this. Let's see what we're doing here. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Take this batteries out. One of the things I have to say is for many years I didn't have a space like this to work in, and now having everything on hand that's easy to grab is super fun. And I don't have a lot of stuff. I don't claim to be, let's see, is this going to come out or am I going to need to encourage it? There we go, okay. Now as you'll see, as standard, you will get these incredibly powerful Jafuli batteries. I've never heard of those before in my life. They look like they're about to explode. So maybe if you buy yourself one of these pair of goggles, I would suggest replacing the batteries quickly. Unless you're a fan of Jafuli batteries, which you of course might be. No offense meant to Jafuli, but they don't look in a good state. They do not look in a good state. So I'm going to put those aside for recycling. Yeah, so this is a little flap that opens here, ready for those. So that's good. So I'm going to put the... Do I put some new batteries in? You know what? Sometimes it's good to have batteries in when you're fiddling with something like this, because if you happen to break something, you become very quickly aware of it when the light bulb stops working. So you know what? I might put a couple of AA's in here. Let's put something a little bit more, let's put some on-brand Energizer Maxes in there. That will mean that this will run for a lot longer. I may find, oh my gosh, these batteries do not want to go into this thing at all. They do not. Wow. Wow. Showing my expertise right here on replacing batteries, folks. I just, want you to know how great I am at it. Okay, so there is the green light. which is actually kind of cool. So I'm going to turn that off for now, and then let's seal this back up. Okay. Buddy wants me to build a mason pistol next time we're on the live stream. Cameron is asking if I've ever wanted to make a lightsaber. I have, actually. I had an idea for a video of how to make a lightsaber from stuff you can find in your house, or at least a lightsaber hilt. I was planning on doing that as a video, so I might do that. Let's see. Paul is saying, I'd love to see you build a real Ghostbusters Proton pack in one. Yeah, that would. A lot of people have asked for that, so that may be something that I need to do. Stephanie's saying, oh, on their Facebook, there are 50 challenge coins remaining. Oh, there you go. We were talking about challenge coins earlier. Yes, Snidler needs to get there. Cool. All right, so we're at this point now. So the next step is to do some sanding. That is the next step. Now, if you've seen my other video where I mod this trap here, a lot of this surface look, and this is a shortcut, right? I'm not saying this is the way to do everything, because what you might want to do next is take all the pieces off it and spray it. But I'm not going to do that, because this is a green plastic, and so we can keep the color of it, just like I've done here with roughing this up. So what we're going to do is sand this and see how well we can make it look the way we want it to look. So that's the plan. So I'm going to get some sandpaper out. And you don't want a very heavy grit for this, because what you're not looking to do is put really deep marks in there. So here we are. So this is what oh gosh, I'm banging my head into the camera. Good work, Matt. Good work. So we're just going to rub this really lightly, because the main thing I want to get off here is this horrible, not very well done weathering, which looks absolutely terrible. So what I'm basically going to do is go over this very lightly, and what you'll see here is, if I just bring this to the camera, you see what's happening here? So we're getting this kind of roughed up look. It's still green, but it's looking worn. So we're going to try and go over key parts of this in this way. But obviously, the first thing I want to do is get rid of the terrible weathering. So I'm just going to lightly do this again through here. It really wants to turn around while I'm sanding it. And the same over here. And just so you know, it is not taking a lot of effort or pressure to get this weathering off this. And again, you don't want to go too hard at it, because otherwise you'll find that you're kind of carving into the surface too much, and that is not something that you want either. So I'm trying to be even. I'm trying to use circular movements where I can. Okay, there we go. Still trying to get this central piece out. Hello, Venom Pug. How are you? Welcome to the live stream. And if you're just arriving, welcome. Say something in chat. We are modding a pair of Ghostbusters Ecto goggles on the channel. And we're chatting about props and making props and building props. That's what we're doing. So this is what we're doing right now. And if you have any questions about my process, or I'm not saying what I should be saying to tell you what's going on, just ask me in chat, and I'll do my best. Cool. Oh, a Venom Pug can't stay for the live, but says it's looking awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for even popping in and saying hi. I super appreciate it. It's good to have you here for a sec. Okay, so I think that we are almost done with this surface. Almost done here. And I am trying to make sure that we've covered all of it, because I want to make sure that it's all been sanded and kind of roughed down. All right, so this is what it now looks like with that roughed up look. So already, and again, you may have a different opinion, and that's fine, please share it. I think that that's looking a lot better than it did. So I'm going to keep going now around some of the rest of this. Not all of it, but some of the rest of it, because I want to see, you can still see these little silver pieces here. So I'm going to do those to get rid of them. And anywhere else I can see that silver, I'm now going to, again, sand it very lightly. And this is not a coarse grit sandpaper, it's a very, very fine grit sandpaper. So it's not going to create a lot of damage, but it is going to just create a slightly more matte finish to this. And it's going to get rid of that horrible, ghastly looking weathering. I don't understand sometimes. I know that probably what's happening, and this is the sad reality, isn't it, of these toys, right, is that they're made somewhere where people are not getting paid a lot of money, and somebody sat on a production line, you know, putting a bit of paint off a brush in a random spot to try and make it look used. And of course, that does not result in the best look for these props when they're created this way. Okay, gonna do the same here. It's never saying, oh, you didn't like those Wolverine scratches in the middle when you started. I agree, they were terrible. I love the description, Wolverine scratches, because yes, that's exactly what they were, Wolverine scratches. It's a new crossover. You heard it here, folks. X-Men and Ghostbusters. There's the crossover. Right, we are almost done with this. We are getting there. Okay, so most of that is gone now. So here's the next step. I'm going to take my isopropyl alcohol again, and again, if you're new to the channel, or new to the stream I should say, this is isopropyl cleaning alcohol, and I'm going to use that now to clean up after what I've done. So what you'll see very quickly is the dustiness of this is going to go away, because there's obviously lots of dust created from doing this, and this will also show us more clearly where I still have some work to do to get rid of some of the scratching, or the Wolverine scratches, as Snedler calls them, which I love that idea, that they're Wolverine scratches. Okay, so here we go. That's now cleaned with the alcohol. Oh my gosh, that is looking so much better already. The only thing that doesn't look great is this battery pack at the bottom. And I've got a thought for you on this as to how we might cover this up and make this a little less unpleasant looking. Now, of course, when they send out toys, they have to tell you what, turn it the other way around. They have to tell you what kind of batteries to put in. They have to tell you, they have to put these, all of this stuff is the dead giveaway as to this being a toy, right? So guess what? We're gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna use a slightly coarser grit for this because, and some of you will have used these before, these sanding blocks, they're so good. This is a slightly coarser grit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here and I'm basically gonna rub on this until we can't feel that writing anymore. And it's going to take a bit of effort to get it to go away. And I am actually going to put some army tape over this after I'm done. So you may ask me, you may be saying, well, why bother then? If you're going to cover this with a piece of tape, why bother? Well, in the light, you're going to be able to see the bumpiness of that text. You're going to be able to see it under the tape still. So the intention here is to try and get rid of that as much as possible. Snedder saying in Denmark hospital they use 90%. They might do here as well. I think that this is because that you can buy this off the shelf. Maybe it's stuck at 70 for safety purposes, or maybe you can get a 90% here. This just happens to be the one that I picked up. But yeah. Noah says, nice looking prop. Thank you, Noah. I appreciate that. Let's see. People are talking about a few things. Let me go back to the chat here. Buddy's saying, oh, is that a monocular? Total Tech? It's a Ghostbusters Ecto goggles, is what it is. And Buddy's saying, hey Matt, I might make a video of showing my Proton pack if you want to see it. I would love to see it, Buddy. Send me a link. You can get to my Instagram from here, so please send me a link. And Cameron sent me a link, and I have to apologize, Cameron. I still haven't looked at that picture yet. That is my bad. It's been a pretty busy time between now and the last time. I haven't done very much. And obviously it was 4th of July weekend here in the United States. So yeah, it's been a crazy time. Been trying to spend time with family. Let's see, Total Tech is saying you can readily purchase higher than 70% in your country, or can you? It's a good question that I couldn't answer, and Snedler said 90% in Denmark at the hospital. And one of the awesome gainer, hey, how you doing? And don't worry about being late, it's all good. And then back to Noah's comment. So yeah, and if you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button? Because we do lots of things like this, like prop building, and we also do a whole host of other things. If you hit subscribe and go to the channel, you can find all the cool things we get up to. Alright, so what you should be able to see now is that is now smooth. Nice and smooth, and not any longer showing all that stuff, which again, to me, makes it look a lot better. Now you will notice there's a little bit of the sanding that's gone in there. So I'm gonna get my trusty compressor. I have an air compressor here. I'm gonna use this, and I'm just gonna blow that dust out there to get rid of it. I can do a quick clean of my workbench as well at the same time. Right. So that is coming together now. Now there's still a few places where you can see this stuff, and I can't get rid of it. So I might brave using the slightly coarser grit here on some of these sides here to get rid of it. Now one thing that you also might have noticed when you do this is that you start to reveal what I'm going to call some of the molding marks. So you see this has a texture to it on the top, and here you see where I've sanded this. Oh, I'm getting camera mode, sorry. And there's a line, and that's because of a molding point. So this piece in the middle is actually lower than this piece, which is why you've got that line. And it's just the way that it's been molded. So when you start to sand some of these things, you start to find that some of these little defects show up that wouldn't have typically shown up otherwise. And you notice again, I'm going in circular movements, because what I'm not trying to do is, if I sand in straight lines, it will create far too much it will look much more like sanding, and so I'm trying to keep it nice and easy going. That is so much better now. Okay, it's coming together good. Let's see, what are people saying here? One of the awesome gamers sub, thank you very, very much. I super appreciate that. Snedler, by the way, happy 4th of July to everyone from the US. It was a fun holiday, it was. I went and watched fireworks by the lake, and coming from England, where we tend to watch fireworks on the 5th of November in the middle of the winter, the tradition of watching fireworks in the summer is far superior. I'm just going to put it out there. Sitting by a lake and drinking a root beer while you watch the fireworks is super fantastic. So yeah, super good. Noah's saying thanks, and it's the 5th. It is the 5th today. As you're right, Noah. It's just we were talking about the fact that I've been busy because we've been on vacation and having fun time with the family. So that's how the topic came up. And then chatting about building Ghostbusters inventions. And Snedler's saying they're not skilled builder. I'm sure you could try it though, Snedler. I bet you'd be better than you think if you try doing these things. And I always hope that watching these videos will encourage people to try their own builds. And the reason that I'm doing this mod of a toy is really just to show you the process of going through, you know, how easy it can be to take a toy like this and turn it into something that looks, you know, pretty realistic. Okay, so you'll notice now I'm kind of trying to blend the sanding everywhere, because what I want is for this to look broadly the same. And this sanding block is a super good tool for this exercise. Okay. So we're making progress. Here's another example of that sanding look. You see I said that you see these mold defects. I've sanded here and it's picked up here but not here. And the same here, you'll see that that actually goes in. So this is not as flat looking as you think it is. So you have to do a bit of work there to make sure that you're sanding all of that so you don't have this fake looking line that you might have otherwise. Okay, let's clean this down with some alcohol again and see where we're at. Jeremy Space Invaders is saying, what am I sanding? I am sanding an Ecto goggles toy from Spirit Halloween with the intent of creating a more realistic looking prop rather than a toy. That is what I'm doing right now. And so we've sanded away, I think, all of the examples of the terrible weathering that was done in the workshop, which was really, really bad. In the workshop? In the factory, is what I meant to say. In the factory. Oh, I still missed a little bit. So yeah, here we go. All right. Good, good, good. Getting there. We are getting there, very much so. What else are people saying? ED is saying it's 6th today. It is. We were talking about the 4th earlier. That seems to have created a lot of confusion, which is quite funny. Let's see, what else are people saying? It's easy to lose track of dates, even though they got the time off. As Sandra saying, thanks buddy, to you and Matt, I will give a build a try. That's why I'm here, to learn building. Picking your brain a bit. Yeah, you're welcome. I truly believe anyone can do this. If I can do it, certainly you can. And Buddy's saying, soon I'm going to make my own Ghostbusters invention. It's called a dimension energy meter. Ooh, that sounds cool. And Noah's saying, do the PKE meter. I am going to do PKE meter. Don't worry. I'm going to do that on another live stream because I think it would be a really great one to do. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm pretty pleased with how this is looking now. I don't know what you folks think, but I think that even now, that looks much better than it did out of the box. There's a kind of wornness to it. There's a bit of a feel to it that is good, I think. Let me know what you think. I'm going to keep these pieces shiny as possible. So yeah, so we're going to do the next bit of the mod now. Now here's something else that I want to get rid of. I want to get rid of this on and off button. So this is going to have to be done carefully. Okay, Noah's saying it looks great. So this is always interesting. Now I'm sanding this And the first thing you notice is that this is not a silver plastic. It's actually the same green plastic as this, which is always fascinating to me, how they reutilize and use the same types of plastics. But anyway, we're going to keep sanding until we can get rid of these, because what we're going to do is we'll have to repaint this, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. But yeah, we just got to keep going around in circles until we get rid of the on and off symbols. Okay, I think we're close. I think we're almost done. And then what I'm going to do, that was quite a tough grit, so I'm going to go over this now with a finer grit. And then we'll clean it up again with the alcohol. And there you go, look. No sign that there was even an on or an off button there ever. It's completely gone. Again, it's always fascinating to me how quickly you can make those kind of changes to something like this. All right then. So, the next step. These do not look very realistic. the rivets. Now, in the actual, I'm just going to get up here a piece of footage that shows I'm going to get up a reference image. So let me just look for it real quick. Because I want to see what those actually look like. All right, here's some reference material. Here we go. So we're going to see very quickly see how different these look to what we have here. And the biggest thing that you can see that's different is this internal line here is missing to begin with. So that's a big thing, because there's a plate in here. Now, this is the kind of thing that probably I'd want to take these out, and then I'd want to put in, I would probably laser cut a piece of wood to go in there to make that more realistic. We're missing this button here, that doesn't exist. And then these are actually little hex nuts in here. So I think that's a great example. Also notice that we're missing another one of these. There should be another piece of metal here that turns this around. So there's quite a lot of stuff when we look at this that we probably want to change. And so for the purpose of this discussion, I'm just trying to think about what I would do next on the live stream. How long have I been streaming for? Okay, we've got some more time. So, as I said, what I would probably choose to do at this point is I would probably laser cut a piece of wood to go on here to make this look more realistic. Now, my question about that is, I'm just trying to see, I don't think these are going to come off very easily. So, I've got one of two options here. This depends on how realistic we want to be. And this is always the thing that this is always the thing that kind of, and sorry, I'm not looking at the questions now because my brain is whirring at 1,000 miles an hour. So there's a couple of things we could do here. These are the screws that you see on here on the prop. What we could do to make this more realistic is we could screw these into those holes. So like screw that in and then have those sitting there. That would definitely make that look more realistic. And I'd do the same with these. And then Again, my preference would be that I would put some kind of wooden piece in here, but for the live stream, that's going to be hard for me to do. So you know what? For the purposes of the live stream, let us choose to do this next step, and then I might do a full video when I convert this better. Right, let's just look at the chat here because people are asking questions. Make a Captain America shield or Black Panther cause. Wow, there's some great questions that people write, things that people want me to do. Yes, those are great suggestions. And then Snedler's been asked a question, and I obviously missed what the question was. Sorry about that. Noah is asking me to do a sonic screwdriver. I do know Doctor Who, and a sonic screwdriver would be super cool. A second storage to the containment unit, Buddy is saying, and a PK meter 2.0. Cameron's saying make a Thanos Infinity Gauntlet, that would be cool. Yeah. Yes, Noah really wants me to do a sonic screwdriver. So there we go, cool. People are chatting to each other. I love it when people start chatting with each other. Right, so this is what we're gonna do. I am gonna get, first of all, the right drill bit for this. This one looks, whoops, I keep banging my head in the camera. That looks a little bit too big. I'm gonna go the next one down. And then this is a pretty simple operation. I just need to try and get my screws, my screwing in straight. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my electric screwdriver and I'm gonna drill a hole in the center in each of these. Now, if I was gonna go with the wooden plate that would go in here, which I might do when I do a full mod of this in the future, I would probably use a Dremel, and I would probably completely flatten these, get rid of them altogether, and flatten them out, I think is what I would probably choose to do. And then make a plate that went kind of in here and around here where the goggles sit, which is going to be harder than it sounds. But that's probably what I do. But for the purposes of this live stream build, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and I'm going to do my very best to drill a hole central to each of these. Wow. That really is tough plastic. Either I've got a very dull drill bit, or that is that's taking far too long. Let me find a different drill bit. Need to replace the drill bits. Let's see if this works better. There we go. Dull drill bit. There you go. Not a great start. So, here we go. Again, trying to get broadly central. That's it. Same here. Here as well. There we go. All right. So now I've drilled a little hole in there. That one went a bit off, but there we go. Sometimes it can't be perfect all the time. So now what I'm going to do is get this little tapping bit here, which is for creating a screw fitting inside it, which helps you when you're trying to put the screws in. This is the longest thing. Whenever I do these mods, this bit's always the bit that I'm like, oh really, do I want to do this tapping bit thing? And then when I do it, it just makes everything so much easier. So yes, I do want to do this tapping bit thing. I do. Here we go. And then when we've done that, what we're going to do then is we're going to put those screws in those holes. And I'm going to use this drill bit to do it. Drill bit. This bit here. We're going to do this right. So, here we go. So the idea is we're going to screw this in now. And what this should do is it should improve the appearance of that little bit. Now look at that. Look at the difference between that one with an actual screw in it and this one with nothing. That's what we're going to do for all of them. And again, these little hex nuts are a terrific addition to making anything come to life a little bit more, because they're real hex bits, so they look, you know, real, because they are real. They don't just look real, they are real. So yeah, I'm going to put this next one in. So you guys are having fun in the chat here. I'm definitely getting behind on the chat. Ecto Trip saying, oh, hi Ecto Trip, how are you? Ecto Trip's like, oh, drilling toys now, I see. Yes, we're into drilling toys. Okay, and if you've just arrived, what we're doing is we're making this toy set of goggles look more realistic now. So here we go, folks. This is the difference when you put those hex nuts in there. It gives, first of all, it a little bit more dimension and takes it away from looking as fake. And as I said, I think when I do a full video of doing this conversion, oh, here we are, look. I just, I'm gonna put this here because now I've done that, this won't move beyond here, but that's okay. I think that works fine being on that side. But yeah, now I've done that, it makes me happier that that's like that. I think that looks so much better. So yeah, I'm just gonna screw these in a little bit more. There we go. Borna, I skipped you, I'm sorry. What did I skip? What did I skip? What did you say that I skipped? And I apologize, say it again, because I'm really behind on chat now. Tell me what you need to tell me. Because I thought you guys were mainly chatting with each other. Ghostbusters HQ is back. Hello, Ghostbusters HQ. Is it hard to unscrew the goggles? Noah is asking. It wasn't, you know, so what I did was this plate back here, this plate here just pulled out really, which is the bit obviously that goes in here that you look through. And the one on the real goggles is a lot more padded than this. So again, there's an opportunity probably. See that this is a piece of rubber. This piece of rubber here has been stuck on this piece of plastic, or at least tabbed into the plastic and then stuck. So you could probably replace this with something a little bit more realistic looking. But yeah, so that's where we're at. Look, I've taken those screws and replaced them. I think what I should probably do is the same with these two here. I'm just going to get a piece of wood to put under this because I do not want to screw through my mat here. So let's do these now. Okay. Again, probably going a bit faster than I should because we're doing it as a live stream. So I need to forget to push this back over here. And if you're new and you like what you see, why don't you hit the subscribe button? Because you won't regret it. Not only are there some awesome things on this channel, but as you can see from the chat, we have such a fantastic community of followers that are super kind to each other. It's just a really pleasant place to be in this community, which I'm super grateful for. So there we go. All right. So now I've screwed those, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get out a few of these, and we're going to put those screws in again. And I'm going to do these side ones. Now, you notice I haven't done the tapping bit. Let's see if this makes my life a lot harder. You know what? That actually wasn't too bad. The only thing I'm concerned about, I've just realised, is, see on the back here, that's probably sticking out too far for me to put this back on. So I'm going to have to take that out and swap to a smaller, less long screw here to make sure that this works properly. Okay, so you see these are the length of the ones I've got. I do have some shorter ones. So I'm going to use some shorter ones here and see if that makes a difference. I'm going to just zoom in a little bit. I don't know if that's too zoomed in. Let me know if it is. I apologize if it is. I'm just trying to give you a better look at what I'm doing. Okay, let's try it with these shorter ones. Okay, that seems to be better. It's not sticking out as much on the back. I think it's still going to cause us a problem, but you know what? I might have to just use a Dremel to tidy those up if I can't put this thing back on. It's one of the challenges when you put these kind of things in the toy that you end up with these little issues. I had the same problems when I did the Ghost Trap mods. Sometimes the screws were too long, or sometimes they went into places that just didn't work. So, and again, if you've seen my Ghost Trap video, this is the Ghost Trap that I modded. This is the same principle, right? Is using these screws here to go in to these plates. And when I was talking about the front, because we just mentioned that this front piece has an indent in the actual real pair of goggles, I would definitely go for that. You see, I added these plates, which are cut out of wood. I used a laser cutter to do that. That's the kind of thing I would do to create that look. It's not perfectly accurate, but it makes it much better looking than if you just had the trap. One of the things I really don't like about the Spirit Trap, I haven't got an unmodded one here in the room, but there's a seam that goes right through the center of here and right down the center of the back. And so again, putting this plate on here and giving it that kind of textured look, you can see that in the light. Should turn the lights on really, shouldn't I? Makes it look a lot better. So that's the kind of thing probably when I'll do a full video mod of this and not just a live stream. I will probably work on figuring out how to create that look in there with a plate that sits in this position here. So where are we at? I've got one more screw to do. Stop talking, Matt. Finish the job at hand. Do your job, Matt. Hey? Right. Here we go. Okay. So now you will notice I have put these screws in these places, which is great. I think they look a lot better now. So now we've done that bit, and as I said, if I was going to take longer and I wasn't doing this on a live stream, I would probably do that other wood cutting piece. But as I want to show you the other techniques I use, I'm going to take a step forward now to the next bit. And again, these here, I would probably choose to put these in. Let's see, can I get in there? Actually, I can. You know what? I'm going to do that as well, because otherwise I'm going to feel unsatisfied that that is not properly finished. So just 4 more to go, and then we're done with this stage. And then all of these match. These, by the way, these ones on this, because it's sloping like this, these are a lot harder to screw straight. I think I'm finding that these are going to be the squiftiest ones of all. Is that a word? Squifty? I don't know if that's a word. If it isn't a word, I just made it up. I'm going to have to go to my other box. And these are 3mm hex bolts, by the way, if you're wondering what I'm using here. I got these off Amazon. You can get these everywhere. I mean, here in the UK, and in the US, sorry, you can pick these up a bolt at a time at Ace Hardware. So yeah, you can do that. Right. Buddy saying, hey Matt, you should build a Ghostbusters lightsaber. Oh my gosh, that sounds awesome. Now, what have I missed here in chat? Sorry folks, let me just get to the chat here. Oh, so many comments. I'm sorry that I'm really sorry if I've missed you, by the way. I apologise. Right, what are people saying? Happy birthday, Paul! Wow, that's awesome. 40 yesterday. Congratulations, sir. Ecto trip added a lot of padding to their goggles. Tell me more about that Ecto trip. I'll be interested in how you did and what you did. Born an Awesome Gamer saying my friend's brother's making a ghost trap that works in Proton Pack. That's awesome. And then I think people are talking about Ghostbusters cartoon. Snedler commenting about the community. Esther saying happy birthday. Snedler, I had to say it, but you could give a few episodes a try, else the real Ghostbusters is the best. Right, okay, yeah, talking about the different cartoon shows. Paul's saying that they love the real Ghostbusters. Buddy's saying both Ghostbusters shows are the best. And Snedler saying, what, did you just hold my birthday party today? Happy birthday, Paul. Paul is saying, I'll watch a couple when I get home. Noah is giving lots of fun thumbs up and fun emojis. And sorry, I'm just trying to catch up, folks. I do apologise if I'm jumping over these. Buddy's saying, hey Matt. Oh yes, I read that one. Sorry. Mad Doctor. I can't say that, but Mad. I'm just going to call you Mad. Bro, great props. I had those. That's awesome. Thank you, Mad. And Snedler, one side was red of the goggle. It would be like something taking off the board from Star Trek. Yeah, you could put a laser in here like the board from Star Trek. You could. Okay, cool. I think I've caught up. So, what do we do next? I'm going to finish screwing these in. Sorry if I took ages to respond to your comments. And if you're new here, welcome. It's good to have you here. Tony, welcome. You're not late. Well, I mean, you are, but you know, nobody's ever late. You're always, people are welcome whenever they turn up. It's fine. It's a Saturday. People have got stuff to do. Oh, great. I just lost my bit here. And if you just arrived, we're modding a toy pair of Ecto goggles from Ghostbusters. These are the Spirit Halloween goggles. And I am adding, we've sanded this down, and now I'm adding 3mm hex screws that are designed to make these screw positions, or these rivets as they kind of look like on the toy, make them look more realistic. And I do find once you get these hex bolts on here, you start to find that the whole thing looks a lot better. Did you playtime? Hello, welcome. Yes, put a Slimer image in there. Yeah. You can put a Slimer image, so when you look through here, you can see Slimer floating around. Okay, so what do you think, folks? I think this, now with those hex nuts in there, is looking so much better. So much better. I'm really pleased with that. Excellent. Okay. Cameron, am I going to do the stuff I sent you on Instagram? I'm really sorry, I still haven't looked at it, Cameron. That's really bad of me. I apologise. I was saying earlier, I think I mentioned that you'd sent me something earlier. Maybe you weren't watching at that point, and I said that I got very busy this week with 4th of July, so I haven't had a chance to look. But don't apologise for bugging me, because sometimes I forget these things. So if you want to send me another message to remind me, please feel free to do so. Instead of saying yes, they look a lot better. Yes, I think they do look better, a lot better. Right, so here's the next step. A couple of things we're going to do. We need, and I'm not going to work on the straps today, but the other thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to do some weathering on this and show you how I might choose to weather these. So a couple of things. First of all, I'm just taking a look at this. I mentioned earlier about this bit here for covering this with some tape. So we obviously want to still access this battery box. So I've got some tape here. This is just some kind of army tape. I'm going to rip it and make it look a bit tatty. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a piece of it over here like this, over the top of the door. And then what I'm probably going to do is then I'm going to rip it here, rip it off Because the idea is to make this look like a repair, and have it kind of stick over like that. And I've done it intentionally, I've done it so it doesn't look straight. That was intentional. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this other bit, maybe rip it off it so it's shorter, and then rip it in half again. And I'm going to put this over there like that. And then finally take this bit, and again maybe have this kind of go over here, let's see, like this. And the idea of this is to create a look, like I said, that these have been repaired, so something along the bottom there like that. Now you remember when we sanded this down, I said that the reason I wanted to take down the writing on here was I wanted to make sure that you couldn't see any bumps under this that made it look like I'd taken away any of that writing. So, so that you could see that writing. So that's what I did. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tape that looks shiny and we're going to age it by sanding it. So I'm going to take the sandpaper, I'm going to come in here and we're going to give this a good old sanding, with the idea of really roughing up this tape as much as we possibly can. So it starts to kind of curl up, maybe at the edges and look a bit used. Start peeling off a little bit. So it really does look like it's been through the wars here. Okay, so that's what it's starting to look like now that I've sanded it up a little bit. And then the other thing you can do is just maybe take your hand and pull on it like you would, like it's been worn or used. There we go. And so that's what I've done now with that tape. And again, it's covered the battery box. And I might put some tape elsewhere, just to make sure that it's kind of all blended in, so that there's another repair somewhere maybe. But that's what I do with that box there. Okay, cool. All right. People are saying that it looks a lot better. Let's see. What light did I use and how is it powered? So Tony, this is the stock light that came with it. So it's literally got a battery pack. That's the pack I'm covering up. And that light is built in. And I sanded down the battery cover to get rid of the text, the standard text that you get on toys that shows that it's a toy. And then I've taped it over because obviously we're going to want to put batteries in there in the future, but I've tried to make it look, I'm going to call it afterlife aesthetic. So it's been repaired and made look older. And sanding is the big thing with the tape to make the tape look right. If you don't sand it, it's not going to look aged. Again, you'll see I did a similar thing with the ghost trap here. So on the handle, I put tape, and then a few other places. These actually cover the holes and a few other things on the trap. And so again, it makes it look like a repair that's happened. And what it's doing is it's covering up the toy qualities. On the bottom here, for instance, there's writing that's covered up with the tape. So that's what I've done on the trap as well. Okay, am I going to add the camera to it? Gosh, not today, but that would be cool. That would be very cool. Right, so now I've done the tape. Here's the next thing I'm going to do. So, there are a couple of hacks here that I'm going to show you that I love. So, we're going to use these tools now. So, again, remember that this project that we're doing here is how can I quickly modify this from a toy to make it look a lot more like the real deal. And how can I do it quickly? All right, so we haven't sprayed this. We've sanded it gently and carefully. We've added those screws, and again, I would possibly add some additional parts that I might choose to spray if I was doing this on a longer form kind of conversion. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some weathering. So a couple of tools here. So this is a liquid chrome pen. This is going to be your best friend when you do weathering, because it's going to look like chipped paint with the metal showing underneath. And then this is just a standard metallic paint marker, which is again a really good thing to have, but it's not going to look like this. It's not going to look as good as this. So we use both of these in different ways. And then this as well, Rub and Buff is a great tool as well for making things look worn away from a metallic point of view. So we're going to use a combination of all of these things to get the look we're going for. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Rub and Buff. I'm going to put the tiniest bit on my finger here, and you have to be careful with this. So I'm actually going to take a paper towel here, and I'm just going to rub some of it off my finger because I don't want too much. And then we're just going to go in here, and I'm going to put a bit around the edges that I think are most likely to be the most worn away, like that. And again, you need to be careful with it and gentle with it. Actually, unsurprisingly, this looks like it's got a little bit, looks like it's separated a little bit. So I'm going to put some on this cloth. Okay. Again, you just have to be careful to not overdo it. So again, I'm just going to rub this on this edge here. And what it's going to do is it's not going to look like paint. It's going to look like the metal is kind of wearing on the edge. And it's going to be quite subtle. Again, if you do it right, it's going to be quite subtle. So there we go. On those edges. And again, if it looks unrealistic, just come in and, you know, rub it off. Make it look the way you want it to look. And again, I love this process because it's kind of a fun thing to do. So again, see here, I'm just rubbing it on that little corner, and look how that brings that corner to life, like it's metal. Again, here, I'm going to do the same thing. And again, you're going to use Rub and Buff for anything where you've got that kind of corner wear, where the metal's going to show through, and where it's just been rubbed over and over, and it's got that kind of metallic look. It's not necessarily for doing chipped paint or anything like that. It's more just for creating that wear and tear on the corners. Okay, so already, again, to me, that's starting to look much more realistic. SML 2.0, hello. Sorry, I'm ignoring the chat a little bit. I've been focusing on this, but hello people that are new. Oh, the question about the markers and the paint. So these I bought, these two markers weren't very expensive. I think this one was maybe $4. And then this was in a pack of a bunch, and I think that was about $6 or $7. And then the Rub and Buff again was about $5 or $6. I think maybe a little bit more. But you know, by the time you bought a bunch of spray paint that you might be using to do something like this, buying those little things, you're going to use those things anyway, so buying those things is great. So I'm going to do the same thing here on this edge. I'm going to just, again, rubbing like that. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing to create that kind of a look on these edges here. And you do have to be careful, just be subtle. So yeah. Just carrying on with these things. I love the suggestions for more builds. I'm always open to suggestions. Okay, so again, you see that corner's coming up really nicely, and this is a gentle exercise, and what I mean by that is that you just have to kind of go with it, and you're kind of watching it, and then you're stepping back, and then you're saying, does this look right? And then you're going to go back in, you're going to add a little bit more. And again, you're going to ask yourself, does this look right? Have I overdone it? And if I have, can I take it down a little bit and make it a little bit less pronounced? So again, I'm just going into these corners, adding more of that kind of worn look. And again, on these kinds of edges here, you're probably going to get that that worn look is going to extend from the edge over here a little bit as well. So again, you're just going to figure out how much of that you want to wear away. And Rub and Buff is fantastic because you can layer this stuff up and you know, kind of go for it bit by bit, which is what I'm doing here. And I keep saying the same things, but it's because it's true, and because my mind is now very much phased out into weathering mode. I'm trying to talk and work at the same time. So if I start spouting gibberish, I mean more gibberish than normal, obviously, because I spout a lot of gibberish as it is, but more gibberish than normal, just let me know. Save me from myself. Snedler's question. What was the question? Oh, Snedler's saying, I have a gigameter suggestion. That meter from Ghostbusters 2 always fascinates me. Yes. Yes. With the LEDs kind of in the front, it's kind of cool. That would be a good one. Caleb, hi. Snedler and the slime grabber when they dig a hole in First Avenue. Yes, that would be a good one as well. The kind of cup thing that picks it up. Right, I'm going to add a little bit more to some of these corners. Now this is a great example of me overdoing it a little bit there, but that's okay. You just kind of rub it out. If you feel like you've got too much on there, just work it until it's done. Okay. So I'm just going into all these corners now that are going to be exposed to the most wear and tear, and adding that look. And then here I'm going to assume over the bridge of the nose, right? You're going to get some wear and tear there, look. So let's just add that in. So you've got that nice worn look. And as I keep saying, I find this process super fascinating and fun, because it's amazing how, as you're holding the prop in front of you, all the work that you've done to get it to this point is starting to bring it to life, and now it's starting to look much more like the kind of thing that you might expect to see in a screen setting. Okay, right, so we've done that bit. Now, Snedler's got to go. Snedler, thank you for joining. Good to have you here, always good to have you here. Okay, right, so this is the thing we're going to do now with the chrome pen. So this is a chrome pen, as I said before. This is different to a metallic marker, and this is going to give you a really shiny finish. So I'm going to start by going around the edges of these screws in certain places, the places where I think that they have the most wear and tear. And what you're going to see, and again, it's a little bit harder to see on the camera, but what you're going to start to see is a little bit of shine coming off these places that we use the chrome marker on. Oops, did not mean to do that. That's going to make it look more like metal. So I don't know if you can see that. There's a shine appearing in that area. And then the other thing we're going to do is there may be some places where the paint is chipped. So where I already started here, let's just imagine that this corner here has some chipping paint on it. And so we're going to make it look like that paint has come off there on that corner. And you might do it on the top here as well. I'm thinking this is probably a great place for chipped paint. And you have to be a bit auspicious here, because you're basically designing a chipped paint look. And so you have to kind of think about, if I had chipped paint on here, what would that chipped paint look like? How would that manifest as a chipped paint look? And just, you know, if you're struggling with what to do, or you don't feel confident to do what I'm doing now, which is kind of going for it from memory, have a look at some images of chipped paint. see what that looks like, and how that again manifests in reality, and then that will give you some ideas. So again, you see on the top here now, we're starting to look like we've got some peeling and chipped paint on the top of this. And again, I can't give you any real specific instructions for this other than what you see here is that I'm feeling my way. Every paint job is going to be slightly different, but I'm trying to think about where this would get, you know, if you drop this thing, where would it get dropped? Where would the paint chip most likely? You know, I'm thinking that there'd be some chipping here around these edges, and maybe, you know, just along the bottom here where things get picked up and touched. There might be some chip paint there, and again maybe on this side you might expect to see some. So again, you just have to kind of go in there and do your best to bring it to life in a way that seems fit for you. And I just made a mistake, so I just grabbed where I painted the chrome paint, look, and put my fingerprint on it. That's totally going to be a tell that that's not real. This stuff takes a while to dry, so you'll see it looks a bit bumpy to begin with, but it will dry flat, and that's going to look really, really good. But yeah, it's going to start looking more and more like a realistic thing. Thank you, Noah. I'm glad you're liking it. And then some other places you're going to put this chrome paint, right? So I'm going to put paint right around the top here of this lens. In fact, I'm going to do the whole of the edge of this lens because it's going to make that look super shiny. And then any areas on here where you can see the black plastic coming through, I'm going to put this paint on here to cover up those black plastic scratches, which are kind of telltale points that this is not real. But the great thing is that the scratches or places where you've got problems with this, they're real scratches. So if you paint over them, you're kind of using the real existence of this toy and its, you know, bangs and bumps as a way to give you a realistic looking scratch. And again, here on these little pieces here on the corner, I'm going to put a ring of that around the end, which is going to make it look more like it's a real knob that's been handled like that. So yeah, that's how we do this. And you just keep going. So I'm going to find all these little spots now. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I'm holding this in my hand, so hopefully you can see that okay. But yeah, I'm going to use all these little raised spots now as places where I'm going to use this pen. And again, where I've done the rub and buff on the very corners here, I'm just adding a dot of this pen to kind of, again, bring it to life. And again, you won't see it as well on the camera, but what it does is it adds like a twinkle or a shine to the edge of things, which makes things that don't look like real metal on the toy come to life. So this, again, this dial here, I just added it around the edge. So rather than being that kind of matte looking look to it, it's got a real shine to it, which makes a big difference to how that looks in reality. And this one here, this is another really good way to use this stuff. So you can paint large areas with this pen. So I'm just going to literally go on here and I'm going to cover the whole of this button that I sanded down with the chrome pen. And you will be, or at least I was, amazed at how well this comes out. It's going to look like you've painted it with a chrome paint when you're finished. Look at that already. How crazy is that? How good that looks. Very, very quickly, which is kind of insane. So I can't say enough about how good these chrome pens are. And again, here, look, this is a really good example of somewhere where we're gonna, you know, I'm just gonna paint the whole bottom of this with the pen. so it matches, but also covers up that kind of scarring and the mess that was there, and some of these other corners and these seams to bring them to life. Okay, we're close, folks. And as you can tell, I mean, I don't know, when I started this, you can probably tell me because we talked for a bit at the beginning. But let's see, how long have we been on the live stream? 114 minutes. I reckon this is an hour and a half's work to get to this point. And so if you're thinking of doing something like this for, you know, your Ecto goggles, or for a toy that's made, you know, for a different franchise or something, you know, you want to make this look like a more realistic cosplay, or more realistic for a Halloween costume, or whatever it is you're trying to do, this is really doable in you know, a period of time that you might have available to you, to make something that really looked toy-like turn into something much more realistic. The other thing I'm going to do here is on these clips where you have the brackets for holding this on, I'm going to paint these with the chrome as well, so that these look like they're actually clasps and not a plastic molding. So again, it's just going to bring them to life in a way that they wouldn't have been brought to life if we left it like it was plastic. And again, what we've done here is we haven't had to spray paint anything to do this. And again, you know, there is a time and a place to spray paint stuff, and this definitely is a, you know, you could have spray painted this, you could have done so many things. I know I've seen other people mod these by spray painting them. I'm not saying you shouldn't spray paint them, you can and should, depending on what you're looking for. But for a live stream like this, and for a quick job, and you want this to look realistic, it just amazes me how quickly you can get to the point of this looking so much better with using a few things, a few simple tools that you can get from a local store. Okay, this is, I'm going to just add some, don't forget when you're using the chrome pen, sometimes you have to dab it to get more chrome paint to come out. Yeah, I'm just going to add a few more dibs and dabs here to show the kind of chipped paint look on the side here, and again on here. Chipped paint can be anywhere on an object, but just make sure you're consistent about it when you do it. And again, you might want to, when you've done this chip paint look like I've done here, depending on how old the prop is supposed to be, you can go in and add things like a bit of rust to the chrome paint after you've done it, to kind of dress it down a little bit. And there's a couple of good products out there you can get. So these are modeling paints, but you can use these to add rust and grime after you've done this. So really what we need to do now is let this dry a little bit, and then we're going to dirty it down. We're going to make it look even dirtier than it looks now. But while we do that, while we let it dry, I'm going to put the camera back up on here and actually talk to you again, because I know I've been very, very engaged. So let me take this off here and turn the camera around. Hey folks, here I am. This is the point that all the people that have not seen this channel before have been watching carefully, and then they're like, oh, who is that horrible looking British guy? I'm gonna leave. But anyway, yeah, so that's been fun. I'm just gonna let that dry in the background, and we can chat again. And again, if you're new to the channel and enjoyed this, I'm not gonna pick it up because it's still wet. Then yeah, we're gonna let it dry and we're gonna talk for a bit. So if you asked me a question and I didn't get to it because I was busy building, please ask it again in chat. TG Playtime is saying hello. Hello, TG Playtime. It's good to see you. Paul's liking my t-shirt. Thank you very much. You know, it's appropriate, right? I love a good bit of The Office. Yeah, a few people saying they need to invest in the pens for their pack. Yeah, honestly, those pens, I use them on my pack In fact, I'll show you. I can show you the pack. We'll talk about the pack. I know we talk about it often, but I do have the pack. Let me just create a bit of space for this, because I don't know if you're like me when you work. So much mess gets created because you're bringing all these things in and putting them different places. Okay. Right. Hello. I'm going to bring the pack in. I'm going to stand it here, and I'm just going to move this over here while it dries. So, for those of you that are new here, this is the Proton pack that I built. There it is. And so, on this pack, I did use a lot of. Hang on, I have to do this every time I get the pack out. Oh, it's the best sound in the world. The sound of a pack. But I'm gonna turn the sound off at the back there. But yeah, so on the pack I used this exact same technique to create. Let me bring the camera a bit closer so you can see it better. But I used this exact technique to create a lot of these things here. So this here, that is the rub and buff that I just used. This stuff. So that's what I put on here. And then I used the liquid chrome pen in little places like this. So you've got the rub and buff, and then I highlighted these areas to bring them out. So the chipped paint, let me take the camera off here and I'll do a close-up for you. Hang on. Okay, so there we go, that's better. So you'll see things like this, the chipped paint here. This was all done using that chrome paint. The same with the little chippings and other places here. Up here on the top of the pack, I did the same thing. So all this chipped paint is all that chrome pen. So yeah. Buddy's saying, I like how you're so good at this. You should make a Neutrona 1 3.0 with wires coming out. This has wires coming out because, I mean, it has to. And this actually has a bit of a trick. So if you've not seen this wand before, or this pack before, I've got sparking wires inside here. and then I also have this cool effect down at the bottom here, if I can get it to work, where it vents smoke at the bottom, which is pretty fun. Yeah. So let's see. The V-hook I made. Let me see if I can show you that. The V-hook, it's difficult to show you, but I actually just made it out of a piece of metal that I cut. It's a piece of aluminium that I made. TG Playtime is using their Dremel. Good for you. Snedler saying, trust me, Matt will own an Ecto, all equipment, boots, uniform. And if he could, he would buy the fire station too. That is so true. That is very true. Cameron is saying, you should add a small little box that can shoot 10 Proton taser darts that go in a circle. Oh my gosh, that would be awesome. Thanks, buddy. I agree with that too. Noah's saying, nice hat. And I love your Doctor Who logo, Noah. Born of the Awesome Gamer, have you watched Ghostbusters Frozen Empire yet? I have. In fact, I was at the premiere, Borna. If you're, I think you said you subscribed earlier. I have a whole video of me going to the premiere. It's super fun. And actually in that video, that's where I got to hold some of the props from Ghostbusters Frozen Empire for real. So let's see. Is this dry? Is it dry? Let's see. It's getting there. It's getting drier. I need to be careful to not touch it before it's ready. So I'm going to leave it a little bit longer. But it is definitely getting there. Just needs a bit of aging down in a second. But yeah, I was really just using the pack as an example of where I'd use the pen. And actually you can see on here, you know, I talked about using the metallic pen, which is this one, which has what I'm going to call a matte type of metallic. It looks like the lid. And then I combined that with the chrome paint. So I don't know if I can get the angle right, but can you see there? There's the chrome paint on top of the metallic paint. And that's kind of the difference. So yeah, you can see it like pops at certain points. But yeah, so this is anyway. This is the whole pack, and all of the techniques that I'm showing you now are there on the pack. Buddy's asking me, Matt. Sorry, don't have an Instagram. Sorry. Oh, no problem. Well, you know, if you want to share stuff, drop it in the comments of one of my videos, or on the comments on I usually put a community post up pretty regularly. So you're very welcome to put links or stuff up there. I don't think you can drop links into this live chat. Let's see. Muran is saying, I love the Q-Pack files. I'm currently selling one all done with a Matty collector wand. Such a clean build. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, the Q-Pack. And this is a Q-Pack. If you're unfamiliar with what that means, Q-Pack is a 3D model of a pack that I use to build this pack. So this is an example of a Q-Pack. And this one I've intentionally made look old and a little bit burned and aged with a few techniques here, is what I've done. And actually, this is a really good example of the rub and buff stuff right here. So yeah, making that look more like metal. Born is saying, can you please put on the Proton and show everything it does? Sure, I can do that. And Noah's saying, thanks, took a while to make the classic modern Doctor Who logo. Yeah, I know that logo has vibes of the older era mixed with the new era. Love all the different variations of the Doctor Who logo. Born is saying you should see that video. It's great, but need to tell you, Matt was tired and needed his nuclear accelerator recharge at the end. Oh my gosh, I did, Snedler. I was so exhausted after the premiere. It was crazy. But he's asking me how heavy it is. Right? Okay, let's do this. I can put the pack on. You know what? It's easier said than done in some respects, this. But here we go. So I'm going to try and get this on now without knocking over anything on my... and let me turn the sound on. Okay. Here it comes. Oh, that is the pipe, not the strap. Don't make that mistake, Matt. Okay, here we go. Oh, here it is. It is on. It is ready to go. The pack is there. It is good. Now the question is, and I don't know if you know this about the packs, but actually pulling the wand off is really hard sometimes. And I angled this wand so it was easier to pull off. In the original films, it was quite hard to get those off. So yeah, gonna kick up the wand. This is a modified 84 wand. So we're gonna, there we go, and then of course the most important part, ready to roll. And then, you know, if you press intensify, and you can, you know, these ones are great. You can turn this down and it changes the kind of pitch of the sound and the vibration in the wand here. So yeah, there you go. What are people saying? People are just sharing their positivity. Ghosts will be scared of this pack. Yes. Incredible. Matt put the wand back on for $1 million. You know what? I don't think I could get that on if I tried. Literally. I don't know. I would love to see a video of how people put the wand back on once you get it out, because it's impossible to put it on. Which is why these things have a hook, and you can then put the wand on your belt and wear it around like that, because I don't think there's any way that you can get the wand back on once you've done it without dislocating your shoulder in some kind of crazy way. So yeah. What other cool things can it do? Okay, the question is, what other cool things can it do? Here we go. So I think I showed this. I think I can't remember which one is which, but yeah, the sparking tube here. So it starts to spark, and then if it overheats, look down at the bottom there, and then it vents smoke. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if it's getting in the shot. Let me just put this down here. There we go. hopefully you can see that above the chat. But yeah. And I actually, probably the smoke needs refilling at some point soon. But yeah, there's the pack. It's super fun to have and wear. And now I have the challenge of taking this off and how to put it down without it breaking into a million pieces. But hey, it's good timing because now it's probably time to do the next step. Oh my gosh, I'm off camera here and I'm dropping everything everywhere. Somebody mentioned about the V-hook, by the way. This is what I did for the V-hook. It's a piece of thin aluminum, and as you can see there, I used some washers to push it out. But that's what I did for the V-hook. You can buy V-hooks, they're quite expensive. I didn't have time to buy one or order one because I was trying to build this pack and finish it before Ghostbusters Day. So that's what I ended up doing for that. Okay, put this on. I'm coming back into shot, I promise you. Okay, we need to turn this off now. Right, hello, I have returned. Okay, so I think we're at the point now where we're ready to give this a go and see if we can go to the next stage of this exercise. So let's see what people are saying. How heavy is the pack, Buddy's asking? It's actually not heavy. I don't know the exact weight, but it's not too bad at all. Snedler's saying, yeah, cool. Oh yes, these were comments I read earlier, sorry. Noah's asking if I'm a certified Ghostbuster. I'm not. I'm a bit of a certified madman. But not a certified Ghostbuster, but I'm a massive Ghostbusters fan, as people that follow the channel know. More so, you've got to practice in the mirror, putting it back on to make a muscle memory. I know, that would be helpful. Yes, the sounds are great, Paul, from the wand and the pack. I loved bringing all of that together to make it work. The smoke is epic. It really is epic. That's a CNA prop build, so you can buy those vent packs from CNA Props. They're fantastic. Struthy, I think they're saying you want to buy it. That's cool. Next, can you make a real gun? Wow. Don't know if I want to make a real gun. And Esther saying, let's go England. Are England playing right now? I thought they were playing tomorrow. Noah, I said that. English or Spanish? I speak in English. I can't speak Spanish, I'm so sorry. And Snedler saying, give a like if you like the video. Yeah, if you're new here, hey, drop a subscription. You know, say hi and subscribe by subscribing to the channel. All right, we're going to get to the final step. Paul's saying that they occasionally set up their pack just to annoy their wife. You know what? Every time I go through my workshop to get to the car, I always have to kick the pack off. I just can't help myself. All right, here we go, folks. This is the final steps here. So, in order to finish this off and make it look aged, we're going to do something actually pretty simple. It is not complicated. So, we're going to take some water and some acrylic paint, which I now, of course, for the life of me, cannot locate here because I have put it somewhere. Typical. I'll be right back. Entertain yourselves, folks. I'll be 2 seconds grabbing the paint. Okay, I have returned with much paint. How did you entertain yourselves? Yeah, people talking about annoying people with their Proton packs. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take some acrylic paint. It's important that it's acrylic paint because an acrylic paint is going to have a different effect than a water-based paint. And then we're going to get a bit of water in here. I just happen to have some elsewhere. Okay, here we go. And then I'm going to take a brush, find the right kind of brush here. This one will do. And then what we're going to do is we're basically going to go in here and we're going to do two things. So you can do a bit of a wash, which is what I'm going to do here. And a wash is just, I'm going to use a lot of water and I'm going to work this in, and I'm just going to kind of paint. And I know this is going to look very random to begin with, but I'm going to paint around, particularly into the cracks and gaps. And then we're going to wipe this off again. So again, and once you run out of that paint, you're just going to create another wash here. So that's a slightly darker one. And all this is fine, right? Because the good thing about this stuff is you're going to rub it on and then you're going to rub it off again. And it's not about, we're not creating like a perfect finish here. We're basically just trying to rub dark paint into all the crevices of this and all the places where where dirt is likely to go. Right, now we've done that, I'm going to grab a towel and we're going to rub it back. So we're going to take it back, we're going to reduce the darkness of it again, and we're going to just kind of dab it in some places. You see here where that's going in the top there? We're trying to keep that kind of a look in the places that it needs to be. And again, probably in reality, if I wasn't doing a live stream, I'd do this many times until it was dry. But there we go. You see, we're starting to get an aged look now. I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you folks. Hang on. Is that good? Can you see there? Is that an okay shot? Let me know if it's not. Buddy's asking, do I have a containment unit? I do not. And I am British, yes. I'm still British. Even though I live in America, I'm still a citizen of the United Kingdom. Okay. So, I think we're looking pretty good. So what we're going to do now we've done that, I'm going to go in now with unmodified, unwatered down paint. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put dirt in some of these areas where I want it to be more thick, and then I'm going to rub it off. Now, this is particularly helpful in these areas where I've got this chrome paint with the chipped paint, because what I'm trying to do now is make it look a little bit more dirty down. See the difference that makes? And again, so we're going to go particularly again in these areas where that dirt might get and stay and stick, and just darken that up a little bit. And particularly it's important that we're putting some of this color on the chrome, because otherwise that chip paint's going to look brand new. We're not looking for it to be brand new because it maybe got chipped 20 years ago. And so we're just trying to add a layer of realism and dirt around this to make it look like it's been used. And again, think about where dirt tends to gather and where it gets rubbed off. And sometimes what I even do is I'll put my fingers around it and hands around it and kind of, how would I hold this? Where would I hold on to it? And what kind of a difference would that make to the way some of this dark paint stays or doesn't stay in certain things? Okay. Now, what I'm going to start doing is on these buttons, I'm going to put some of this paint again, as you can see, and then I'm just going to dab it But what that's starting to do, if you see, is make that look like a slightly older, tarnished piece of metal. So that's what that's doing. And again, I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm just going to stipple that. I'm going to go in around the button as well. And then, first of all, go around the edges to clean that out. And again, like with any of these things, it's a bit of trial and error. So you're going to play a little bit, you're going to add some color, you're going to add some darkening down, and then you're going to rub it away and see what you want to keep there, what you want to have stay. Okay. So again, already that's starting to look now much more like a real thing, an in-universe thing that is a real object, an object that's been used and abused perhaps in its lifetime. And again, when you come to doing things like the straps, you're going to want to put some paint on those. You're going to want to make those straps look used. You're going to wear them back and wear them down a little bit. So yeah, and again, I'm particularly trying to get into these areas where we're going to put dirt. So again, if you can see there, I'm trying to get that dirt to stick in the gaps. Steph's heading out. Take care, Steph. Okay. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining. And if you're new here and you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button. I would super appreciate it. Join this awesome community of folks. Okay. So, there we go. Now, what I'm also going to do is, it's important to not have only one color when you do these things. So I'm going to take a bit of brown now. If I can get this to come out, just a tiny bit. And I'm going to mix a little bit of brown in to some of the stuff that we've been doing here. Okay, just a little bit. But more than one color, you'll find will totally bring this to life in the way that it needs to be brought to life. So again, I'm just going to go in here with the brown, and what I'm actually going to do is start by putting some of the brown around this piece at the top here, so on the metal. And again, we're just trying to, I'm just stippling at the moment, but just to give the effect, the impression of the metal being tarnished and used. Again, if you can see how that's making a difference. And again, important to try and get that tarnishing right down into the crevices there. So you've got a sense of this being a real thing. And the other place that you're going to want to tarnish up is actually on the inside of this lens. So these lenses shouldn't look super clean. So it'll be hard to see on the camera actually, but you're going to kind of go around and stipple this all. So I'm stippling the whole thing, and I'm going to let that dry, and then what I'm actually going to do is clean it. So the inside is going to be clean, but the outside is going to look tarnished. But again, that's going to help make this look like a more used real prop. I'm going to do the same with the brown paint here on the black. Again, making these metal pieces look tarnished and dirty. I'm going to put a bit of the brown in here as well. And with the brown, again, as I said, I'm just stippling it. I'm not trying to go too heavily. And if you overdo it, just remember you can take it back off, or you can run it backwards and, try again. Go with a different look. And as I said earlier, why am I going in with brown as well as black? Because two colors, there's never actually one color to any any kind of real aging. So if you can add another layer of color, you're always going to have a more realistic outcome than you would have done if you just stuck with doing black. And again, I might even go in with a lighter color and then come over it again with a darker color to make that, you know, more realistic. Okay, I think we're getting close here. And the other thing that I'll probably do as well is I'll probably come over with the chrome pen and use that chrome pen again to bring out some of those highlights, because even though I've aged this down, you're still going to get new paint chips. Okay, so just take a look at that for a second. If you like what you see, click the heart button, spam that heart button to tell me that you like it and that it's coming together. And even things like this here on the top, where that is going to be, it's probably going to be covered by the strap, but I just couldn't help myself with putting a little bit of rust around it to make it look realistic. And again, we're going to put rust around these here. And again, we're going very much for that kind of afterlife vibe with this paint job. But this is now like a million miles away from where we were with this before. So there we go. So there's one final thing for us to do now with this. I'm going to put these away because otherwise I'm going to spill them everywhere. So this is a really... Cinnamon is good for us, Lewis. That's a great comment. Yeah, cinnamon can be very, very good for making... Especially if you flick it onto wet paint, already wet, it can look like it's a rusty buildup, which can be really, really cool. Emmett, are those spirit goggles? These are spirit goggles, Emmett, yes. Spirit goggles that I'm, making look used and abused. And yes, Noah, I'm making it look a little rusty, absolutely. Womp Womp, hello. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate you enjoying it. Okay, so this is the final thing we're going to do for this build. And we're going to use something, I've marked this as weather and clay, but this is something called Fuller's Earth. Now in reality, probably we should wait a little longer than this, because it's probably the paint is still a little bit wet. But for the purposes of this live stream, so this is basically a dust. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take this dust and I'm going to put it particularly in the areas where dust has a tendency to gather. Right? So, you know, you leave something to get dusty and it gets in the cracks and the crevices. And you're going to put on way more than you need to, which is fine. We're just going to spread this around. Again, I'm going to make sure I get it on this tape here, into the gaps in the tape. I'm going to flick it from here. Basically working it into all the areas that we're going to use this on. Again, starting to talk gibberish. This is what happens when my brain engages in the creative process. I start to lose the ability to form sentences, folks. Again, putting the dust around the lenses is going to be important here. Anywhere that's a crack or a crevice, the dust is typically going to gather, is where you want to put this. Until it starts to look like the whole thing is completely covered from foot to toe. Right, okay. So we've done that. Now literally going to blow this off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the goggles where I would typically hold them. So if I was putting them on or grabbing them, and I'm going to rub my hands around the product in that way. So, you know, I'm going to be putting the, you know, this is probably where I'm going to hold this. So I'm just basically imitating the process of using it over and over in that way. And then what you'll find will happen is that the earth will kind of shine up in the areas where you're getting a lot of hand use or hand coverage. And then if you kind of rub your hand around the areas where you might touch the buttons, or while you might even choose to kind of clean this up with your fingers if it got dusty or dirty, what you're doing is you're kind of establishing where the dust's going to stay, and you're creating that effect of it looking like it would do if it got dusty and used and became more realistic looking. So that's now the effect after adding the Fuller's Earth. So you've got now a mixture of colors here and things going on. So you've got the darkened areas, and then you've got this kind of light tinge that comes from the Fuller's Earth. And again, you'll find places where maybe it's a little bit exaggerated and you like this and you just want to rub it off and maybe blow it out a little bit. But what it does is you see it's very delicate and very simple, but it will sit in those areas and make them look, again, much more used and abused. Now this is dry. I'm going to rub my finger on the lens to clean off, and again, this will be hard to see on the camera, but I'm cleaning off some of the paint that I painted on there, so that when maybe you can see it, so you see you've got that kind of like worn look around the outside, and then it looks cleaner in the middle. I'm going to do this on this one as well. So again, you've got that kind of dirty but reused look. And yeah, I'm actually pretty pleased with that. I think that came out pretty good. So yeah, that is now, I'm not going to say the finished article, but close to a finished job of making this look like it's a proper used thing and not something that you bought in a toy store. And the amazing thing is you can do this with any toy. You can take a toy and you can make it look this way, and it's so great if you're using something for cosplay or you want to bring this to life. And again, there's lots of inaccuracies with this toy that don't make it look exactly like the real Ghostbusters thing. But I think there's enough accuracy in it to make it work. Now, I said I was going to do one more thing here, and this is what I'm going to do. So these areas, this is the chrome pen again, the areas where the paint got a bit worn from me aging it. Again, I've been doing this in a bit of a hurry, so not everything was as dry as it perhaps could have been or should have been. So I'm just going back over here and I'm adding some additional chrome paint to bring some of that paint chipping back to life, so it doesn't look quite so aged. And again, it still looks aged, but you know what I mean. What I'm trying to do is just create highlighting, because the beauty of something looking realistic is this difference between the highlighting and the dark. That kind of contrast is what makes these things work and pop. And again, it's going to be hard. I'm going to pick this up and I'm probably going to mess the paint up. But again, you'll see now just adding that extra shine on there has made a real difference to the kind of final look and feel. So there you go. That's it. Wow. We did this whole thing on the live stream. We started with a toy and we turned it into that, which was a pretty fun thing to do. So super pleased with how well that came out. So any questions? Any more questions from you? I know, sorry, I've been maybe ignoring you guys a little bit while I've been focusing, so sorry about that. But any questions you want to ask me? I'm covered in Fuller's Earth. Look at this. That stuff gets everywhere, Matt. It's almost an Anakin Skywalker quote right there. So yeah. People just making some comments. Paul saying it's impressive. Thank you, Paul. As I rub off the Fuller's Earth. Thank you, for your comments saying it looks awesome and aged. I appreciate it. So thank you. Buddy saying, what was my first pack? My first pack was actually a Spirit full-size pack. Actually, no, a Spirit 2/3 size pack was my first pack. Cameron's saying I should make an Iron Man helmet. I should. There's so many things that I could make and should make. If you've got anything else you'd like me to see me do on the channel, drop it in the comments. Let me know. Paul is saying, once the goggles are done, what's the next project? Well, I was showing a few people this earlier on the stream. Thank you, folks. I hit 10,000 subs, which is epic. And YouTube don't give you anything for 10,000 subs. But I thought I'd make myself a wooden play button. So this is what I'm making at the moment, and it's going to light up. So that's what I'm building as kind of like a fun thing to do, and also a way to say thank you for all of you that have subscribed and supported the channel for so long. And those of you that are new, welcome and thank you for supporting the channel. So that's the next project I'm trying to do. And the other big thing I said that I was doing at the beginning of this live stream was a lot of people have been asking me about a membership and member exclusive live streams and videos. And so I'm going to be opening a membership up. I was hoping to do it this weekend. We'll see how far I get. But yeah, I'm always open to any suggestions for what I build. I definitely am building a Xenomorph head ahead of the release of the new Alien movie. That's going to be something I'm going to be working on. I'll be doing that partly on the live stream, but also as a video, because a lot of that's kind of hard to do on a live stream because I've got to carve foam and I'm going to need to be masked up. So I probably won't start live streaming that project until I'm a little bit further in, and then I can share some of the process of molding and chat about doing that. So yeah, those are some of the things I'll be doing. What else have people been saying? Yeah, it looks like they haven't been used in a while. Yep. Would the goal be to add a mini frosting, floating see-through Slimer on the lens? That would be super cool if I could do that. Buddy's saying the next live stream I need to build a compact thrower. I could definitely look at that. I need to finish my 3D printing of the thrower parts, but I could probably show you some of that. Lewis is saying, Matty, not Marty, auto-corrected. Paul is saying, I'd love to see you build a flux capacitor or time circuits. Okay, so I am going to be building a flux capacitor. That's one of the next things I'm going to be doing. Because of our epic Halloween Back to the Future themed experience that we're building this year. So I am definitely going to be doing that. So many things to choose from, so many things to do, and I've got a lot of work to do on all of them. So yeah, so much stuff to do. Time circuits aren't easy either. There's a lot of electronics involved in those that I would need to do some research on, because I could probably do it, but it's outside of my knowledge base at this point in time. Make Aquaman's trident. Oh my gosh, Cameron. Yeah. I probably could do that. Because I'd probably do it similar way to the way I did the Mad Max steering wheel that I built. I'd probably do it similarly to that. Paul is saying it's hard being a nerd. So many choices. That is true. We are spoiled, us nerds, these days. There's so many cool things out there. No one wants me to do the gigameter. Quite a few people have asked me about the gigameter. I need to do some research on that, because that dome piece with the LED spinning in it, I need to figure out how and where that dome came from, because I wouldn't be able to 3D print that. That would have to be, yeah, I had to think about the best way to do that. So yeah. All right, folks, well, I'm going to call it quits for today. Thank you so much. If you haven't dropped a subscription yet, please do. Loads of cool stuff on the channel for you guys to check out. Loads of Ghostbusters stuff, loads of other things as well, and lots of exciting things coming up over the next few weeks. I can't, just so many. But anyway, this is me signing off. Thank you for joining the live stream for our prop build. If you missed it and you've just arrived, sorry, but guess what? It's going to be on YouTube. Drop a subscription to the channel, to Experience Explorers, and you can check out all our other cool stuff. And thank you so much for those of you that have been here for the long haul and stayed and chatted and have been fantastic viewers. and subscribers. Really appreciate everything you guys do. And thank you for chatting. It's just a real pleasure. I always enjoy doing these and hearing all your comments. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.